It says the release of these emails is long overdue, but the Obama administration must still release all of the Benghazi documents. Joining us tonight, House Judiciary Committee Chairman, Congressman Bob Goodlatte of Virginia. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Good to be with
Let me start, if I may, with just the tenor of what is happening here. I have not heard any explanatory response from the White House regarding what James Rosen just reported. That is, all of the deficiencies of information, whether they be distortions, deception, simple gaps. 2 days of emails are missing. What is your construction of what the White House is now doing regarding IRS, regarding the Justice Department, and the Associated Press, and of course, Benghazi?
Well, I think that, first of all, the American people expect them to be forthcoming on all these issues. But secondly, they want to see accountability. And they're not seeing that in the White House, and they're not seeing that down below on these issues. When we hear that the individual who was directing this program with the IRS has now been transferred over to the new department that will be supervising what some people say will be 16,000 or more IRS agents that are going to go around and check to see whether every American has purchased health insurance as required under Obamacare, that does not instill confidence. You would think that instead this person would be held accountable to explain how this was allowed to occur in that section and whether she should still be employed by the IRS.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask you directly. We began this broadcast by talking about trust and this administration's credibility. Do you, as chairman of the Judiciary Committee, have confidence in the Attorney General? Do you trust the Justice Department? And for crying out loud, we find out now, with all that has been revealed about the Internal Revenue Service and its politicization, we find out now that the woman who led the department during the most egregious acts is in charge of, at the IRS, the Affordable Care Department, which in fact will have 16,500 IRS agents added to it for the specific purpose of enforcing Obamacare.
It's definitely very disturbing. We again have voted in the House to repeal Obamacare. I think a growing majority of the American people want to see that happen. It is a train wreck, but to have an individual like this who may have, and we still have a lot to learn about this, so we shouldn't jump ahead of ourselves, but may have politicized the Internal Revenue Service in going after conservative organizations. That is a very, very serious breach of the public trust. And to entrust that same individual with leading this massive intrusion into people's lives encompassed by Obamacare, I don't think is going to show a lot that the American people will like.
The modified limited hangout, as it was described in the Nixon years, that is, hanging out the emails is to provide some cover for the larger debacle and scandal, and to now be talking about the IRS let me withdraw that. Apparently, asking for the resignations of 2 officials at IRS. They apparently purposely did not go to the very person who was running that department at IRS during the time that the most, as I said, egregious offenses were taking place, in the targeting specifically of those on an enemies list and conservative and tardy organizations.
Well, we're going to have to follow the truth wherever it leads. We're a lot further down that road with regard to Benghazi. It's important those emails were released, but it's important that they release all the emails. And when I see former Secretary of State Clinton say, what does it matter? It matters a lot to every Foreign Service officer in the United States who is serving in a dangerous post around the world and doesn't know whether they're going to get adequate security when they need it, and doesn't know what other terrorist organizations have been inspired to do as a result of the U.S.'s mishandling of this incident, means it matters a lot to a lot of people, and I think it matters a lot to most Americans.
How much does it matter to you and other members of Congress, but specifically of your committee and the leadership, that this president, while apparently trying to project some outrage at what had occurred at the Internal Revenue Service, has at the same time expressed neither contrition nor has he been forthcoming with the document dump. There is a gap of some 67 hours in emails that were delivered. This cannot be anything but conscious and deliberate on their part. Your reaction?
Well, my reaction is that our request that they provide all of the emails related to the Benghazi incident is critically important to the investigation that 5 committees here in the House of Representatives are pursuing, and pursuing very aggressively. We want to get to the truth. And when we found the truth that has not supported some of the allegations made about how the administration handled this, we brought that out and said these things were not true. But when we have found that there was a lack of response to the request for more security beforehand, we want to know why. And there has nothing been put forward as to why there was not a response to that, nor have we seen anyone held accountable for what could have been something that prevented this from ever happening in the first place.
And amongst the many unanswered questions is who ordered the stand down. Congressman, good to talk with you. We thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Congressman Goodlatte. The controversies at the White House